want to know, how does it feel that Trump is in office right now?
Get rid of the illegals. He's a loser. He's a loser.
You're a criminal. Why do I got to address you? The feds need to address you. DOJ need to address you, and hopefully Donald Trump will address you.
Donald Trump winning the election is the gift that just keeps on giving. As a black man, there's nothing I love more than seeing my fellow black people wake up to the destructive policies of the Democrat Party. And in the city of Chicago, they have been making their voices heard. Let's watch them destroy Mayor Brandon Johnson to his face at a city council meeting.
I want to know, how does it feel that Trump is in office right now? You see the Mayor Brandon Johnson? You underestimate us. You underestimate the black people, and you underestimate Chicago Red. We're the thorn in your side, and we're going to be the thorn on everybody else in this council member side too. If you don't stop what you're doing, we're going to take matters in our own hand, and we're going to stop it. You know that Trump had pulled 45% of the voter in the state of Illinois, 37 in the city of Chicago. That's the statistic. That means that Illinois is turning purple. We're going to turn red. And for some of these city councilmen member, I warn you, do not sit with Brandon Johnson. We're going to get them seats.
You are in violation of the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, the law of the land, the supreme law of the land.
The stupidity to think that you all could come with this type of cut, this type of recommendation, and not come with the true accounting of how much money was spent on these illegals. You all have yet to be transparent with that. That's the biggest financial downfall of the city.
So to give a little bit of context, Mayor Brandon Johnson is probably the most unlikable mayor across the United States. He said when he was running, he was not going to increase property taxes for the residents of Chicago. But now after they've spent basically $500 million in the last year on illegal migrants, they're now raising property taxes to help pay for the migrant crisis, while at the same time refusing to comply with Tom Homan and the Trump administration on deportations. So the black community is just fed up. They're tired of being ignored. They're tired of being told to just deal with it. They're tired of seeing their schools that are closing due to lack of funding being reopened as shelters for illegal immigrants. So you can find the funds for the illegals, but not to support our children's education. But let's keep it rolling because they continue to go in on this man viciously. Watch.
You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaign and double down that you would not raise property taxes.
I won't raise your property taxes.
You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. You are going down in history as the worst mayor in America. Let's start with cutting yours. You making too much money. Let's start there. You Democrats, and you remember you told us to defund the police? Remember, you ran on that. Remember, you was to defund the police? Let's start with that. Let's defund the police detail that you have. And let's put the police back in our neighborhood because we're not for defunding the police.
This was going to happen to you. You got Cash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're going to have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment. Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
That one took me out. He said you got Cash Patel, you got Pam Bondi to worry about. They're about to convict your ass. But I'm going to play this last clip where this guy makes a fantastic point that should scare not just Brandon Johnson, but all Democrats across the country, which is the days of Democrats telling the black people, vote for us no matter what, are officially over. Watch.
And I remember when my elementary school in the area that I live in, the Wadsworth Elementary School, was turned into a migrant shelter. And I remember how Democrats talked to us like we were stupid. You need help. The immigrants need help. Y'all gotta work together. They live in poverty. This is something that you have to accept. And they talked to us like we were 5 years old. But y'all wanna talk about Republicans belittling black people and talking to them like they're stupid? I felt like I was 3 years old, like, okay, like I don't know where Venezuela is on a map. Half of the people who support these migrants probably couldn't point to Venezuela on a map. We don't want illegals in our community. We don't want migrants terrorizing our own people. And to have y'all sit up here and say, we have to accept $70 million being given to them when you got black people who are already struggling and need help, it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. And this election of Donald Trump represents something that is just more than him winning. This is the end of vote blue no matter who. This is the end of they black, you gotta vote for them. This is the end of Democrats saying lesser than two evils. They did that with Hillary. They did that with Biden. They did that with Kamala. It didn't work this time. People are sick and tired because nowadays you got to get your hands dirty. You got to come down and talk to the people. You got to give a little to get a little. Black people are not falling for the okie doke. A long time ago, y'all would say, black people jump. We say, how high? They say, stoop down. We say, how low? They say, go vote Democrat. We would run faster than Usain Bolt to get to the ballot box. But this is the end.
Again, there's nothing I love to see more than my fellow black people waking up to the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party and moving over to the side of the righteous and fighting for true American values. Now, we all know the border crisis is bad, but I bet you had no idea just how bad it was. It's so bad that MSNBC, the mouthpiece of the Democrat Party, is reporting on how bad it is. And watch what they say.
New reporting from the New York Times today shows that during the first few years of the Biden administration, the United States saw its largest immigration surge ever, adding an average of 2.4 million migrants per year and surpassing the immigration boom of the late 1800s and early 1900s. Several factors contributed to this, including political chaos in places like Haiti, Venezuela, and Ukraine, and, according to the Times, the immigration policies President Biden kept in place until his border crackdown this past June. Immigration became one of the Democrats' biggest liabilities in the 2024 presidential election, and Roger Karma argues in The Atlantic that the party should learn a lesson from this. He writes, for more than a decade, Democrats have struck an implicit electoral bargain. Even if liberal immigration stances alienated some working-class white voters, those policies were essential to holding together the party's multiracial coalition. That bargain now appears to have been based on a false understanding of the motivations of Latino voters.
The highest number of border crossings in history, surpassing the late 1800s and early 1900s, where literally that's all that was happening, was immigration from across the world into America. Biden allowed more immigrants in than that. And those are just the recorded ones, the ones that were caught and documented. You have to imagine that it's at least 50%, if not double that number, of people who didn't get caught, got away, weren't recorded or registered, weren't apprehended, but still managed to sneak in. We will truly never know how many illegal immigrants got into the country, but just the recorded numbers that they mentioned already make it the highest number in United States history. And I see why the residents of these sanctuary cities are tired of it. They're fed up. It's not just from a crime perspective that the illegal immigration problem is affecting them. It's that they're a total drain on society. And now these governments are having to spend so much money just to maintain these illegal immigrants that it's taking away from other crucial needs in the budget. Now, I want to play this next clip because the House Minority Speaker Hakeem Jeffries accidentally let it slip that the Democrats are not for the people, they're for themselves and their power. Watch.
Is it realistic to even think about doing some kind of legislation with the Republican Party, which is now a MAGA party, and they want immigrants out? They want the mass deported. They're not going to cooperate with Democrats on a bill.
Well, I think the American people have consistently made clear that while we understand the need, and it is appropriate to make sure that violent felons who are presenting a risk of harm to everyday Americans and who are here unlawfully should no longer be here. While at the same period of time, we should be focused, of course, on those violent felons and not families. And I think public sentiment is going to be critical. Abraham Lincoln often said, with it Nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. And though we won't have the gavels, we will have the ability to help shape public sentiment and make sure that the American people push back against far-right overreach if it occurs from the incoming administration or extreme MAGA Republicans in the House.
A normal politician listens to what the people want and fights for what the people want. What Hakeem Jeffries just said is they want to change public sentiment around their own policies, i.e., they want what they want. They have their own agenda in mind, and they want the American people to get on board with that, not do what the American people are wanting them to do. And that's why people are so upset when you see these sanctuary city mayors and these sanctuary state governors fighting so hard against Trump's deportation plans. Because the American people are like, dude, we voted for this. We want this problem to be solved. And these governors and mayors are fighting against the will of the people. They have their own agenda that they want the people to get behind, no matter how destructive it is to their own citizens. I honestly could not tell you why a single governor or mayor is fighting against mass deportations. It's going to alleviate the financial burden on these cities, and it's going to reduce the strain on all of the local services, whether it's health, education, housing, social services. It's going to lower crime, and it's going to make the citizens more happy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Is there any rational reason you can think of for why they would want so many illegal immigrants coming into the country? Or was it just a power grab play by the Democrat Party? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.